What is going on, everyone? It's your guy Cole Jackson back here on Road Graders, and we are going to be diving into some DRE'MONT Jones film, getting you guys ready for what to expect from the newest Raven. Like I've been saying, I'm going to try and make these a little bit quicker, a little bit more to the point, so just do me a favor. If you guys are enjoying the new format, if you like it, hit that like button, hit subscribe if you're new here. Helps channel out, helps me grow, gives me that positive feedback that this is what you guys are looking for. And as always, drop a comment down below if you have any feedback. So what I'm going to start here is really taking a look at the type of player Dre Jones is. A guy that played for the Seahawks, obviously had last year under Mike Macdonald, so it was interesting to go back and look at some film from last year. So I kind of threw a little bit of both into this mix. But a guy that's, gone, I think, started with Denver, went to Seattle. He's been basically like a 4 or 5 sack, 45, 50 pressure kind of guy. So I'm going to start, I'm not trying to make this negative. I'm not trying to say this isn't a helpful move. He's going to obviously be a huge upgrade on a guy like David Ojabo, but I don't want people to think that this is like some groundbreaking addition. This is a guy that's going to be helpful in the rotation, brings something different, and that's really where we're going to focus because he is a power rusher at heart. So you're going to get rushes like this, though. So he's going to be on the left side of your screen going against Will Campbell. And just before I jump in, appreciate how nice this snap jump is from Will Campbell. Just go slow through it. Watch this. As the ball snaps, look at it. You could call that a false start, but that's how good his snap timing is. I had to appreciate that. But you're gonna get some dead rushes like this, where he's trying to get into his power package, tries to go for a spin move, and that's okay. You're gonna get a little bit of this. It's just the type of rusher that he is, but it also comes with some upside. You're also gonna get rushes like this. He's on the right side against Braden Smith here. Again, just that upfield rush, and here's kind of his game. He wants to get hands inside, hit that chest like a sled, and try and power through and open that inside counter. And so here we're going to see him go for the bull rush. Braden Smith does a good job of dropping anchor, and the ball comes out. So plays like that are going to happen. Here he is against Will Campbell again on the left side of your screen. There he's going to try and get those hands inside, create that sled. Ball's going to come out, but you can see him get some nice collapse on Will Campbell there. So, his power game, I think, is pretty solid. I think it's a nice addition. Again, the big thing here being it's different than what the Ravens have. They have speed rushers. I guess you can call David Ojabo a speed rusher. He's just not really good at it, but he's a speed archetype. You have a speed archetype in Mike Green and Kyle Van Noy being a little bit of that inside counter guy, but also not a power rusher. So you're getting a guy that's a completely different skill set. It's interesting because Carl Lawson is as well. So those are kind of 2 new additions that we are going to see. They'll probably go 4 active outside linebackers this week with David Ojabo being inactive. So you're going to get 2 new edge rushers with different types of profiles. So I think that's going to be interesting. Back on the left side here against Will Campbell. Then there you see him kind of collapse. So this is kind of his game. This is his bread and butter. I talk all the time about having a fastball. Mike Green's is that kind of speed rush, cross chop. This is Dre Jones, where he's going to line you up, get inside, and again, does a really nice job of getting that inside battle. You can see Will Campbell's hands landing a little bit high here, and he's going to expose his chest, and then Dre Jones is going to drive through and right into May's lap. Really nice throw by May to get that out and have a catch, but that's a good ability to apply that pressure. And then you see Dre Jones last year against Seattle, and it's interesting because I thought he was much more explosive for Seattle in that Mike Macdonald framework where it looks like he's just getting after it as a rusher. So here he's going to go against Teron Armstead, so not some half-ass tackle, and you're going to watch him just go right through Teron Armstead. And the way he wins, Thompson gives up the ball there. The way he wins this is really the key. So again, there's that hand landing outside from the offensive tackle. This looks like the Baltimore Ravens offensive line with those wide hands. There's Dre Jones, tight hands, exposing that chest, and he just takes him for a ride so fast that the left guard coming to give him help couldn't even get there in time. He's just going to drive through and open that outside foot from Teron Armstead, get after the quarterback. So that's the type of that's the type of power rush he can give you. That's what I'm excited about him. So here we're going to see it. Will Campbell jumping that snap again, and there's that kind of power rush. So you see him get in there into the bull rush, power through, and it's going to apply just a little bit of pressure. Obviously, you want to ideally have someone on the inside there to clean that up, but that's the type of pressure game he's going to give you. So in terms of the style, I think you're getting much more of a Jadeveon Clowney type rusher that's going to be that bull rush guy that can create inside counters off that. And it was interesting because watching these games, you got Jihad Ward here, who's going to line up as a 4-tech. And I like getting 2 outside linebackers here. We're going to get into the stunt game later where he was really effective. But, you're going to get... Sorry, there's a skip. Let me get to the bottom of the skip. There, sorry. There, he's going to hit that inside move. So this is something that he likes. Jihad Ward's going to get this. So he likes to, once he's setting up that power rush game within the game, place that inside hand here, pop up, and then hit a spin move. He does it quite a few times, especially this year with Tennessee, and had some really good success. So here you're going to get a rep against Stone Forsyth on the left side of the line here. Earlier in this year where he's going to get a sack off that exact spin move. So there's that inside spin move, and he's going to take Geno Smith down. So doing a really nice job with that. That's kind of part of his bag. It's that inside power rush and then his ability to create that inside counter. So here it's going to be a little bit different. He goes for the outside or the inside hand on the outside shoulder. But really what he's trying to do here is put that hand there and fake that he's going outside, right? So he's going to try and show that he's going to try and bend that edge, get that offensive tackle working vertically, and hopefully turning his body perpendicular to the line of scrimmage. And as he does that, hit the backspin. And that's what he does really well right there. Backspin comes in, creates that open door. You're going to see it again here, right side of your line on this rep against the left tackle. There's that spin move and a sack, and that came against Bernard Raymond. So a pretty good tackle there for the Colts. So again, he's going to create. You see right there, it's showing that he's dipping, right? We've looked at this where he's going to dip, rip up, but as he's doing it, you can see he's already spinning back into that foot. He's a nice little vet rusher. He's got a pretty nice little pass rush game, and like I said, I've seen him do it a few times where he sets it up really well with the bull rush. So showing a little bit of that nuance. So it's not that he's a non-impact player. It's just he's going to be more limited in what he can give you in terms of true pass sets. Here you get a rep from last year on the left side, and there's him bending that edge. And so he's got a little bit of that edge bend too, which I thought was nice. So here he's going to attack. Again, we want to see a pass rusher that can do a little bit of everything. You're going to see him bend on that inside foot, get low. I believe that's against McNivets. And he's going to just bend that inside edge. And what I love to see when you're bending that edge is that inside hand coming up, which would be his right hand. Inside right hand coming up that opens that lane and gets him to Brock Purdy. So kind of like what he did, and then we see a little bit of that. You see a nice rush here against Joe Alt before he got hurt on the weekend. So here he's going to bend that edge and showing a nice little speed rush there. So again, a guy that I thought was pretty diverse. Not necessarily a one-trick pony, but does have dead rushes, absolutely. So just something for you guys to be aware of. You see a nice little speed rush here, getting after Daniel Jones, making him hear some footsteps on the backside. Here against Trey Pipkins, again, bending that edge and forcing Justin Herbert to step up. Just no one there on the inside to clean it up. So definitely has that as part of his game. There's that. Just this is a little bit of a different play. So they're going to go play action where they're going to ask Matlock to come across and try and kick out block. So obviously an easier assignment against the fullback coming around. But you see, again, ends up falling down, but there's that inside rip move that we want to see, that right inside hand coming up as he tries to bend that edge and create a little bit of chaos, and it was that initial pressure. So he's showing pretty good disruption, which I think is really important. That's most definitely what we want to see, is a guy that can create that chaos. And if you guys remember the film that we did on Jadeveon Clowney was here, he was the master of doing that, beating guys in different ways and creating not necessarily a high number of sacks, not necessarily quarterback hits all the time, but creating that chaos that helps create for others. So that little disruption that he can pull off can be helpful to the rest of the offense. Get him out here against Joe Alt again. And so here we're going to get into the stunt game, because this is where I think his best utility is going to be in the framework of the Ravens defense, because he was fantastic at stunts. This is probably the biggest thing that I'm excited about with him. So you're going to get the force here. So we're looking at force players, and the big thing with him is that not only is he going to be a good guy on the twist, but he's so powerful and he's got that bull rush that he can also be a force player. So you're going to get the force from the inside. He's going to spin inside, or not spin inside, he's going to loop inside. So does a nice job of coming off his defensive tackle here. We get that guard with their body completely turned, and it's going to create that inside lane. Vidal is going to miss him because he sees that DB. That becomes his guy. And then there's Dre Jones getting in and getting that quarterback hit. You see it again here. So what I like is he's explosive, he's decisive, he's got good bend as he comes around the corner. So he does a really good job of executing that, and I think it's going to be helpful here in Baltimore. So here you're going to get a DB walking up. So we got 3 guys in stand-ups from the outside of the guard over. We also have a 0 tech. So Tennessee doing a really good job of kind of scheming this up. You're going to get that force player from the 0 tech who's going to cross the center's face, get into the left guard, and then create that inside lane. And here he comes around and grabs that foot for a sack on Justin Herbert. So this is what I mean. That's an explosive rush for him. He's coming around that corner quick. He's decisive and executes that really well. So this is something that I'm really hoping the Ravens start to execute, getting more into a stunt game as opposed to what they've been doing, which is a whole ton of sim pressures. It's not that I don't want to see any of them, but those sim pressures we kind of looked at yesterday about how they could be picked apart a little bit, and I think this will give them a little bit more upside. See him coming again in here against the Patriots, another sack off a stunt. So these are designed pass rushes, but he's executing these well. They do a really nice job of creating this. You got the left guard preoccupied by the linebacker stepping up. You got the 0 tech over here against the center, and it just creates that lane. That's tough for the left guard and the left tackle to exchange. They don't. He gets in there to Drake May. So, again, these are scheme pass rushes. Just to be clear, I want to be perfectly upfront about that, but doing a really nice job when he's asked to do it. And then here he is on the right side in that Colts game. And you're going to see right here, as he comes inside, he's going to hit a little spin move and then get after Daniel Jones for a quarterback hit. So, able to execute these in a number of ways. He's on the right side of your screen here. There he's going to be the force player, right? So he's going to come in and set that pick for Jihad Ward, who's lined up as a 1 tech on the opposite side. He's going to come all the way across and set that pick. So he's got to come across. He's got a cross face. He gets that left tackle chasing him. Jihad Ward's going to loop and create that opportunity for Jihad Ward, who gets the sack. So this is what I mean by not only is he executing himself, but he's also good at being the force player, which I think brings a little bit more to his bag, whereas a guy like Mike Green's not going to be the force player. He's going to be more of the looper. So I think what they could do, especially if you want to move Dre Jones in as a 4 tech, line him up over the tackle, run stunts with Mike Green. I think that could be an effective way of getting a lot of speed on one side of the ball. So a lot there that Zach Orr could play with. Then we see him in the run game. Here he's going to be on the backside against Kyle Pitts, against Bijan Robinson. Really nice play there. I think he plays very powerful at the point of attack. I think he's a guy that can play all 4 downs. He's going to hit the swim move here on Awenu against New England last year and get a nice tackle for a loss on Ramondre Stevenson. Here against Arizona, good example of the type of power he plays with. So they're going to get a jumbo power going here, where you're going to get a pulling guard come. You're going to get the fullback coming across. They're going to kind of run a counter step in the backfield where they're going to hand it off here. So here we got the guard coming across. Dre Jones has to take him on. He's going to come across. He's going to power him through and then force that cut outside by the running back. So really powerful at the point of attack. I think goes a long way for him. Here, Dalton Schultz is going to try and overtake him. You can see it on the backside. This is a play Woody Marks got hurt on. And you can see right there, he's just got his outside hand into the outside armpit of Dalton Schultz, and he's just going to walk him down the line. And then when Woody Marks goes to cut back, he literally just pushes Schultz across and plays that backside with perfection. Doesn't get a flag there, thankfully. Here against Kyren Williams and the Rams, you're going to see they're going to run a little bit of I would call this like a scrape and fill, because you're going to see 33 go outside. So he's going to cross face. He doesn't have to take that outside contain route because 33 is going out there, but he does a really nice job of mirroring the run. Kyren Williams tries to make a cut. He gets a tackle for a loss. Against the Denver Broncos and J.K. Dobbins, they're going to run split zone. So there's that split tight end coming across to take on Dre Jones, going to Dobbins. And again, the type of power player he is, he's going to push him aside when J.K. Dobbins tries to cut this back. There he is, getting that tackle for a loss. So, number of ways that he can be effective for this team. Really excited to see what he can make as an impact. But I think In summary, you're getting a guy that is most notably a different type of rusher than what you have right now, which I do think is really important. I think he does play with power quite well, and he has a nice little mixed bag in his pass rush game. It's just, I want to be clear, and this is why I included at the start, there are dead rushes. There are a number of plays where he just kind of gets into a bull rush and it's not overly effective. So this isn't just to be a downer on the trade. It's just to give you guys some important expectations management. So I'd love to see him in the stunt game early, what they can do with him as a force player and as a looper. I'd love to see them work him as a four tech. All these types of approaches that the Ravens can take gives them a fun toy that I think is a major upgrade on a guy like David Ojabo. And again, we're adding those power rushers into this mix that is at Zach Orr's disposal. So that's what I have for you guys. If you guys enjoyed this breakdown, if this helped, hit that like button, hit subscribe if you're new here. And as always, be good to yourselves, be good to each other. Peace out, everybody.